Welcome to Jademond Talk, your guide to the fusion of Eastern wisdom and Western precision in digital marketing. Every now and then, we delve into the dynamics of doing business in and with China, often, but not always, with a special focus on the intriguing world of SEO. Here are your hosts, Kun, the founder of Jademond, who brings the unique blend of Chinese pace and German meticulousness, and Marcus, Director SEO of Jademond, our German SEO maestro, with an in-depth knowledge of the Chinese digital landscape. Together, they share insights and experiences from their respective journeys in this fascinating market. Now, let's join Kun and Marcus for another insightful episode of Jademond Talk.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the first episode of Jademond Talk. I'm your co-host, Marcus, joining you from the heart of the Chinese digital landscape, the Jademond office in Tianjin.
And I'm Kun, your co-host from Jademond Digital Headquarters in Guangzhou, where we combine the speed of the East and the precision of the West. We're thrilled to have you join us for our inaugural episode.
Today, we're diving right into the crux of the matter. We're going to talk about the search engine landscape in China.
That's right, Marcus. But before we start discussing market shares and the likes, let's first introduce the search engines that are accessible and those that aren't here in China.
Great point, Kun. Most of our listeners might be familiar with Google, a giant in the West. But here in China, Google is not accessible.
Yes, and that's where local search engines like Baidu come into play. Baidu is one of the major players here, often likened to Google in terms of its services and reach.
Besides Baidu, we also have Shenma, Sogu, and Qihoo, also known as 360. Each of these has its own unique features and target audience.
And let's not forget Bing, which, interestingly enough, is a Western search engine that is accessible in China.
Indeed, Kun, each of these search engines plays a significant role in shaping the SEO landscape in China, and understanding them is essential for any business looking to establish a digital presence here.
Now, when we look at market shares, most people tend to gravitate towards openly accessible statistics. And one of the most official sources in China is CNZZ.
That's true, Kun. CNZZ was a go-to source for a long time, but there's a catch. They haven't released updated numbers in years.
That's a significant issue, Marcus. In a fast-paced digital environment, outdated statistics can mislead businesses and marketers.
Absolutely, Kun. In fact, I must admit, I used to turn to Statcounter for these numbers. At first glance, their statistics seem believable.
And that's where many can fall into a trap, Marcus. While these sources might seem reliable, they may not accurately reflect the current state of the market.
It's a good reminder for our listeners that even seemingly credible sources may not always provide the most accurate information, particularly in a complex and dynamic market like China. The story gets even more interesting, listeners. In early 2023, Statcounter reported some numbers that, quite frankly, seemed too remarkable to be true.
That's right, Marcus. According to their data, Yandex, a Russian search engine, almost matched Baidu in terms of market share in mobile search. And even more surprising was Bing, which they reported to have surpassed Baidu in desktop searches.
These numbers were truly astonishing. So astonishing, in fact, that many online media outlets picked up the story and started reporting these stunning news.
But there was something off about these numbers. They just didn't seem realistic. Marcus, you were skeptical, weren't you?
I certainly was, Kun, and you were too. In fact, many other China SEO experts we spoke to also found it hard to believe these figures.
This goes to show how important it is to critically evaluate the data we encounter, especially in a field as dynamic as digital marketing.
So what's behind these surprising numbers from Statcounter? Why do they report such unbelievable figures?
Well, it's crucial to understand how Statcounter gets its data. They rely on websites that have installed their free web analytics software. This tool is an alternative to other free analytics services like Google Analytics and Baidu Tongji Analytics.
And the number of websites in China using Statcounter is extremely low. It's even more likely to be used by websites that aren't originally Chinese, but are international sites with a Chinese section.
This is where the skew comes in. We believe that foreign individuals in China who are interested in the topics these websites cover might be more likely to use search engines like Yandex and Bing.
For example, Russian people in China might switch to Yandex for their mobile searches, or Western individuals who want the GPT functionality might switch to Bing.
But there's a catch. The GPT functionality is actually not available on Bing in China. So what these numbers reflect isn't the real market shares of search engines in China, but rather a specific subset of users who visit a small number of websites that use Statcounter.
This underscores the importance of understanding where data comes from and what it truly represents, especially when it comes to navigating the digital marketing landscape in China. Given these inaccuracies, it's crucial to find more reliable sources of information. One approach we've taken at Jademond is to look at our own clients' website statistics to see which search engines are delivering visitors.
And that's been quite enlightening, hasn't it, Marcus?
Absolutely, Kun. Our analysis shows that Bing has indeed grown stronger over the last few years. While Baidu still drives the lion's share of organic traffic, about 90%, Bing now accounts for about 10%.
It's important to mention here that most of our clients at Jademond are B2B, so these numbers might not hold true for all industries, but it does give us a more realistic picture of the search engine landscape in China.
It's a great example of how we need to dig deeper and look at multiple sources to truly understand the dynamics of the Chinese market. However, even these numbers should be taken with a grain of salt. If we only look at the data from one website, it might not give us a complete picture.
That's an excellent point, Marcus. If a website doesn't have any rankings on Baidu but does on Bing, then all of its traffic might come from Bing. But that doesn't mean Bing holds 100% of the search market share in China.
Right, Kun. Our clients rank well on both Baidu and Bing, and after looking at a number of different statistics, we can estimate that Bing holds about 10% of the market share in the industries our clients operate in.
Interestingly, some of our clients have mentioned that the value of Bing users might be higher than Baidu users in terms of conversion, even if the traffic from Bing is less.
This once again underlines the importance of understanding the nuances of the market. It's not just about the numbers, but also about the quality and value of the traffic. Well, that brings us to the end of our first episode. We've taken a deep dive into the Chinese search engine landscape, dissecting the complexities and nuances that make it so unique.
We've discussed the various search engines accessible in China, debunked some myths about market shares, and emphasized the importance of understanding the data we use to inform our SEO strategies.
Whether it's the surprising growth of Bing or the dominant presence of Baidu, each search engine tells a different story. And these stories are crucial to understanding the broader narrative of digital marketing in China.
Absolutely, Marcus. And while numbers and statistics are important, let's not forget the value of the users behind these numbers.
That's a great point to end on, Kun. We hope you found this episode insightful and that it's given you a better understanding of the fascinating world of SEO in China.
We look forward to having more of these in-depth discussions in our upcoming episodes. So until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. Zaijian.
Thank you, Kun and Marcus, for such an enlightening discussion. And a big thank you to our listeners for joining us on this journey into the world of digital marketing in China. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Jademond Talk. We value your thoughts and insights, so don't hesitate to leave comments about what you've learned or topics you'd like our host to discuss in future episodes. Thank you once again for tuning in. Until next time, Zaijian.